Listen, he was supposed to be at home that night and shit. Let me get this out. He had no business being in a stolen car, man. He had a bed to come home to. He slept in the car. He couldn't get in the house. All right. He called me like 6, 9 times, like 12, like between 12 and 1. He called me trying to get in. Text me. And I was asleep. Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. Y'all know what to do. Get on Amazon, get that desired nutrition, that pre-workout for that pump, that energy, and that focus. That is in stock right now. Get about 4 or 5 of those. Call it a day. All right, let's get into the video. All right, so I think you guys already know what happened pretty much on May 1st. I believe it was May 1st. A young kid, 18 years old, Ryan Hinton, was killed in a police officer involved shooting. Okay. The information that we have so far, I know you guys seen, unless you've been living under a rock, you guys have seen the body cam footage. You guys seen all that stuff. So I'm not going to play that here. Supposedly he was in a stolen vehicle. That's number one. Number two is he had a stolen gun. That's number two. With, extra ammo or whatever. Supposedly, he dropped the gun, then picked it back up, fled from police, and he was struck by a police officer. So those are the two things. Consider those two things before everything. Everything that led up to him being shot by police, okay? Because that's important. I know people don't want to. They're just like, man, cops just out here killing black folks. What's the reason? What are the reasons behind it? Some people feel like, they don't need to be a reason. They just can't do it. No, there has to be a reason behind everything. Okay, so this is the press conference of the family of the young boy that was unfortunately struck by a police officer.
Grandfather.
Hold up. I'm Rodney Hinton Sr. I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got killed. My whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen.
Right.
So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. My Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent him. So, with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Mr. Redden, for you, this is a fact-finding mission more than anything to make sure you understand.
Yeah, it's a peace thing for me, for everything, for everybody to heal off this. I want everybody to heal off this. It was just like a mistake. I really feel bad for the officer who was shooting because I can see the scariness in him too. People can't see it because I'm going spiritual with this now. So I was able to see that God had allowed me to see this part of the accident. Just like my son made an accident too. So he made an accident. Just, what I'm saying, just trying to just move on now. That's all I'm trying to do on. And I'm praying for the officer and their family.
How hard has this been for your entire family from Thursday into Friday with all of this plan? It's a lot.
It's been hard on my side. I know it's been hard on Tori, because me and Tori, we and her is so tight. We usually being born on the same day. So God, it's crucial how me and her have to end up to explain this now. We born on the same day, but different years. You know what I'm saying? So all this was building up to this point. But I was trying to I have to bring the peace to this. There's no violence in this, no revenge.
You're aware there's social media chatter that people in the community might feel a different way?
I don't.
We haven't been on it at all.
I'm being no social media. I don't do no Facebook, nothing. I just rely on the power of God. That's it.
It seems like there's some tensions, though, based on some of those posts. Do you have like a calming message for those who are concerned over the shooting?
Long live Ryan. Long live Ryan.
All right, so I really like what he was saying. You know, he's obviously not an idiot like a lot of these people are on the internet, because his son, which was Rodney Hinton, the next day after seeing the body cam footage of his son, of Rodney's son, which is Ryan, being shot by police officers, he goes and he runs over a random sheriff officer of Cincinnati and kills him. An innocent guy. Number one, this guy had nothing to do with the shooting from his son. He doesn't even work for the police department. He's a sheriff. What happened to his son was the police department. I know some people don't. Obviously, he doesn't know the difference. You know, they were not involved in this incident at all. The sheriff's department was not involved in this incident at all. Nobody from the sheriff's department was involved in his son being shot. So you go and you do a senseless thing like that and run over a retired police officer. He just retired 5 months ago. 33 years on the force. And he's out there volunteering at a college directing traffic. He volunteered to be there. He's still serving even after he retired. And you go and run him over. That dude had a family. People that loved him. And his son goes out and runs somebody over. And people think he's a hero. People are calling him a hero. That's wild to me that people are like this. Calling this man a hero, talking about an eye for an eye. No, that's the dumbest thing you could do. You lost your son's life already. The best thing for you to do is to argue in court, see what happened, get all the facts, get all the details. Ask yourself, why was my son in a stolen vehicle? Why does my son have a stolen gun? Why is he walking around the streets with a gun at 18 years old? You're not legally allowed to have a gun at 18 years old, so we know it was stolen. We know the gun is stolen. We know the car is stolen. That's why the police were out there. They were out there for a stolen vehicle. You and some other guys are in there sleeping in the vehicle. Why are you sleeping in the vehicle? Why couldn't he go home? Why wasn't he able to get, his cousin says later on in this that he wasn't able to get in the house.
My name is Marlon. I'm Ryan's cousin. My condolences to everybody involved in this. I just want to say, Ryan, I'm so sorry. God, please watch over the rest of my family. I want to address all the negativity and saying he was being a stolen car, this and that. Listen, he was supposed to be at home that night and shit. Let me get this out. He had no business being in a stolen car, man. He had a bed to come home to. He slept in a car. He couldn't get in the house. All right. He called me like 6, 9 times, like 12, like between 12 and 1. Called me trying to get in. Text me. And I was asleep. Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you. Ever. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't. He was scared. He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared.
See, you see what I'm saying? This got me wanting to cry right here, man. Cousin is saying he wasn't supposed to be there because he wasn't. He was not supposed to be there. Why couldn't he get in the house? Why is he sleeping in the car? Why is he in a stolen vehicle? Cousin already saying he wasn't supposed to be there. He's supposed to be at home in his bed. Why are y'all, who's locking him out the house? Why can't he get in his own house? And with a gun. And he's walking around the streets with a gun. How long has he had that gun? Why does he feel he needs a gun at 18 years old? What environment is he living in to make him carry a gun? Because he doesn't know how to operate it. Clearly, when people have guns and they're not registered to them, they didn't go to any safety courses or nothing like that. You can't have a gun. You don't know how to use it. Not only do you not know how to use it, you don't know what to do when law enforcement approaches you and you have it. Because they said he dropped the gun like it hit the ground. And he fell. He also fell trying to get away from the police. In the midst of him running, trying to get back up, he grabs the gun. This is what they say, allegedly. He grabs the gun and continues to run. You can't run with an open firearm in your hand. Because you don't know what you're doing. You're running like this. You go to turn the corner like this. Officer may think, oh, he's pointing it at me. Bang, bang, bang. He shoots you. That's what happens when you don't know what you're doing with a gun. This is what happens. The first thing, you're in a stolen vehicle. Okay, we know that. The second thing is you know you have the gun on you. The third thing, when police approach, you run. You run. All you had to do was stay there. You're caught. Police pull up, you're caught. Damn, you got me. And I got a gun on me. I'm fucked. Yeah, you are. You're fucked, but you live. You live. You don't run away with the gun in your hand. Again, allegedly. We don't know. All this stuff happened in like 6 seconds. Okay? And they're trying to say that this officer murdered the son. That's not what this is. No, his dad murdered that police officer. That's aggravated murder. Aggravated murder is the worst murder charge you could get. And he thinks that he did something honorable. He didn't. He just fucked over everybody. He fucked over the family. He fucked over his son's death. He fucked over that sheriff that he ran over and their family. And he fucked up himself because he may not know this, or maybe he does. Ohio still has the death penalty. They still have the death penalty, man. So you may have to pass away just like your son did. It's a shame, man. And people are glorifying this. They love it.
That breaking news, the man charged with murdering Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson has been denied bail. Thank you for joining us at noon. I'm Megan Mitchell.
And I'm Stephen Albritton. This morning's bond hearing for Rodney Hinton Jr. showed a lot of emotion during and after the court proceedings. We're leading the way with live team coverage. Brian Hamrick breaks down what happened in court. Our Jock Maluka joins us with how emotions ran high during that hearing. And our Todd Dykes has reaction from the sheriff after the hearing. Let's start with Brian Hamrick with that judge's decision. Brian.
Yeah, Stephen, what was an emotional tornado inside the Justice Center here. You have deputies who just lost a friend, a co-worker in the same room with the family of the man who is accused of killing him. Now, just a matter of seconds after Rodney Hinton Jr. entered the courtroom, an outburst. A man came to the front claiming he was Hinton's brother, trying to get his attention. This is what happened.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down. Have a seat. That's my brother.
Yeah, now the outburst goes on. Hinton is escorted out of the courtroom. They finally get things under control, and Hinton returns to the court for this hearing to hold him on no bond. It's a special hearing. It requires evidence to be presented. A prosecution called a Cincinnati police detective who said Hinton had been at the police station to meet with the chief and to see body cam of police from the day before. That body cam showed officers shooting Hinton's son, Ryan Hinton, to death. And it came as they stopped the stolen car. After leaving that scene and seeing this video, the detective said Hinton was very emotional. Family didn't even want him to drive home. He didn't, but he came back later to get his car, and then he headed to the area of the UC campus where Deputy Larry Henderson was directing traffic for the UC graduation. The detective said Hinton picked out the first officer he saw and accelerated toward him.
Through the intersection, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, and struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
I think the conduct in question is classic mental illness criminal conduct. It's always intentional, it's bold, it's conspicuous.
I don't know that...
That's a hallmark sign that somebody is not in their right frame of mind, no attempt to deceive, no attempt to hide what they did.
Yeah, so that was Clyde Bennett. That is Hinton's attorney. He made no secret that he's going to use mental health as part of his defense in this case. And in the end, he didn't even argue with the idea of not having bond for Hinton. In fact, the only thing he requested was that he gets mental health while he's in the Claremont County Jail. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
And typically these no bond hearings do require a higher burden of proof. Brian, was there any evidence presented?
Yeah, it's they call it clear and convincing evidence is what they need. It's like a step down from it's just part of the legal process there. They did not bring in evidence. What they did do is they talked about this video that they had. There are two videos. There's one from a bus that shows the entire encounter, and then there's another one from a security camera that shows part of that encounter. So that will be held for trial.
All right, Brian Hamrick reporting live for us there from the Hamilton County Justice Center. Brian, thank you.
You know, it was an emotion-filled day inside.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how that's very emotional for the family, you know, and you know, getting up and knocking on the window. I don't know what he was trying to do, trying to get his attention. This is a hearing. They allow the families to be there, whoever wants to be there, but you know, you still have to act in a favorable way in a courtroom. Okay, you can't just be going up to the either witness or plaintiff or whoever is in there. You can't just go up to them and just talk to them. You know, they're having a live hearing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I can see how emotional everyone could be. And but yeah, this is what this man did. You know, this is what he did. He went, and they have evidence of him clearly going right into the officer, striking him with the vehicle. You know, what more can you say? You don't really have any defense. Even the lawyer, even the defense attorney couldn't even back him up. They're going to try to do the mental illness. They're going to try to do the mental illness route, because that could put you, when you see your son, you know, killed like that, that could put you in an emotional state to where you don't know what you're doing. That's what they're going to try to do. But he did know what he was doing. You know, he did exactly what he wanted to do. And that's what he wanted to do. And I do hope that he pays for his crime. The biggest problem with all this stuff is, you know, he has no remorse for what he did. I think he will later on in life. Once he sits down and this thing all boils down, and he's going to realize that he just fucked up. He's just like, man, I fucked this whole thing up. I didn't handle this right. I did not handle this shit right. Even if the officer becomes absolved of any wrongdoing, which he most likely will. Okay, just to let y'all know, he most likely will be cleared of all of this because of the totality of the circumstances. Okay, especially if he really did have a gun and he was running with the gun. All you have to do is prove that he ran, turned directions, pointed it at the officer. The officer felt threatened, because it only takes a split second to pull a trigger. You guys do understand that. It only takes a split second, not even a whole second, a split second to run, boom, shoot, even by accident, and shoot and kill an officer that's running after you, telling you to stop. And depending on where you're running to, like if he was running into a store, or if he was running, which this is not the case, but if he was running into a store or running to a school zone with the gun in his hand, the officers they could shoot you in the back at that point. They're allowed to shoot you in the back. In this case, it looks like he was running into a wooded area, but the question still stands: why are you running with a gun? What are you going to do with the gun? If you're not going to do anything with the gun, then leave the gun on the ground. Drop the gun. If you just want to get away, you don't need a gun. That's the point that people are trying to make, that you don't need a gun to even run away. You shouldn't be running away from the police anyway. You shouldn't be in a stolen car. But if you are going to run, don't run with the gun. You're most likely going to get shot. Okay? And then the other side of this is the people with Rodney, him striking the sheriff. People are looking at him like he's a hero. What's wrong with y'all? So they had this song playing in the background. I'm gonna mute the song because I don't want to get copyright or anything like that. But they have this song playing in the background, basically saying this "Get Back." This is "Get Back." You know what I'm saying? And they have him with his chin up, shaking his head, to other sheriff's deputies, to other deputies in the courtroom, as if he did something to avenge his son's death. And the comments are unbelievable, man. Let's read some of the comments here, man. Wow, what a hero. He killed an innocent man. That's a smart guy. Yeah. That was actually a good comment. Here we go. A powerful statement from a dad that loves his son. This is a powerful statement right here. This is aggravated murder, is what he did. There's nothing powerful about this. There's nothing more dangerous, the hurt parent. Low IQ. You know what the common denominator with a lot of these people is? They have low IQ. They can't even formulate a proper sentence. They're just not. They don't have any, they have no intellectual capacity whatsoever. They don't know the difference between right and wrong. They just don't get it. They can't comprehend that him running over an innocent man that had nothing to do with his son's death is the worst thing that you could do. Even according to the law, it's aggravated murder. It's the worst thing that you could do. But they look at him like he's a hero. Somebody put black power. Cops were in numbers trying to intimidate him. He didn't took then bait. He held his head high and made contact with all of them. Low IQ. We have to sacrifice ourselves to prove we've not taken it anymore. Low IQ. Free that man. He's a real one. It's funny how the cop was looking at him, everyone feeling wrong, bad for the cop, but don't see nobody feeling bad for the kid. They ain't find no gun on the kid. The cop who shot the kid should get charged for starting all these problems, all this problem. Low IQ, number one. And they did find a gun. They showed it. Did you not watch the news? They showed the gun on the news. He had an extra mag in his pocket as well. So what are you talking about? Low IQ. They don't even watch the news. The dude just ruling his life and his family's life. Do you not get that? Y'all saying this stuff. You know what's funny too? These are the same people that get up on Sunday mornings and go to church and say they believe in Jesus, say they're Christians, and they're applauding this dude for killing an innocent person, volunteering. You just took that man's family, or you took that man from his family because you're upset that your son was in the wrong. He was the other lady was saying that the police officer started all this. No. His son started all this. He was in the wrong from the beginning. Stolen car, stolen gun, running. That's all wrong. You're not in any of those situations. You don't have any interactions with police. If you're not in any of those situations, you don't have any interaction with the police at all. If you're in a car that's not stolen, you don't have that problem. If you're pulled over by the police and you don't have an illegal gun on you, you don't have these problems. If you're pulled over and you don't run, you don't have these problems. The police are there to do a job. They were tasked to find a stolen vehicle. They found it. He was in it. Then he ran with the weapon. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this, man. This is a sad situation, and I feel bad for the families, that have to deal with, losing either a son or a grandson, and then on top of that, losing that kid's father as well for what he did. I just, you shouldn't. You could do whatever you want, but don't look at this guy as a hero. He's not a hero. This is not how you behave as a law-abiding citizen of this country. You don't just go out and just murder someone just because you feel like your son was done unjust. You know what I'm saying? Your feelings may not be in line with what actually happened. Okay? Because we at least know for a fact he was in the stolen vehicle. We at least know that. We also know that he ran. We do know that. The gun part, from him being killed because of the gun, the video, the body cam, we can't really see clearly if he had the gun, if he didn't have the gun. Like, we can't, so that we can't really. So that's unfortunate that happened, but if he did have the weapon, if it did fall on the ground, he picks it back up, he runs with it, and they can articulate the reason for taking lethal action. If they can articulate it in court, then he's most likely going to be discharged from any wrongdoing in the shooting of Ryan. As far as Rodney, there's nothing that they can do about him. And you know what? And he messed it up too, because they could go, and they still can, they could still try to sue the department for whatever. They'll figure out what things that they can sue for. And but as his father, that's how he should have went about it. He should have waited till all the facts came out and then just like, you know what? It turns out there wasn't a gun there. There wasn't this and that there. Let's say, just hypothetically speaking, now you can sue. You can sue for millions. Okay, you sue for millions of dollars, and for wrongful death, and that money's not going to bring your son back, of course, right? It's not going to bring your son back, but killing another officer or sheriff is not going to bring your son back either. That's not going to bring your son back. That's not gonna make you think it makes you feel, but maybe right now it's making you feel good. But when you're rotting, if he doesn't get the death penalty, and if he does get the death penalty, that's going to take years for that to happen. You know, it doesn't happen right away. That takes years. So while you're rotting in jail, now you're coming to your senses. Now it's like the emotional part is starting to subside. Wait, now I'm locked up. Now I'm in here forever. And you are going to feel bad about it if you're not a, psychotic person, which I don't think that he is. I don't think he's a psychotic person, because a lot of those times those people don't feel remorse. But if he has a healthy mental state, then he's going to feel bad. And I hope he repents for what he did, They did the same thing to this Mangia dude. They tried to mark him as he's some type of hero because he killed a guy that was in insurance. He was like the top guy in insurance. The only thing I will say is at least he went for the top guy in insurance, which doesn't make it any better. But what Rodney did was he just struck a random police officer. That's like this Mangia dude striking a random doctor or a random insurance agent or, a random nurse or something like that. Going out and just killing anybody who's in the medical field or in insurance, just any random person in insurance. But he actually went for the head guy of the insurance company, the head person, the CEO, and he killed him, which is not right at all. And he's not a hero for doing that. He's still a coward for doing that. But nevertheless, he didn't go for somebody who is just random. He actually did his homework and went for somebody who was at the top, And they're looking at him as he's some type of hero too. These guys aren't heroes, man. Because you're not making a change. You're not changing anything. You did nothing. But you made everything worse. You're just making things worse. That's all you're doing. You're just adding to the problem. And so it's not just black people that are calling this guy a hero. Well, it is in this case. In the Rodney case, it's black people calling this guy a hero. But the same thing with the Mangia dude. White people are going down the list like, this guy's a hero. He should be free. He should blah, blah, blah. Like, people are fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you thinking these guys are doing something honorable by committing aggravated murder, something's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, that's just my opinion, man. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys think below. You guys think this guy's justified for running over this police officer, the sheriff who had nothing to do with anything? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you guys are gonna go with the when people start saying the bootlicking stuff, and it's just you're part of the problem. When you start thinking like that, you're part of the problem. We got to be a little smarter, more intelligent, educate ourselves. A lot of these people, man, they just have low IQ. They're just not that smart. That's all. That's what it boils down to. It's sad, but that's what it boils down to. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think below. Appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.